Hey guys, before we get started, this episode is brought to you by Drunken Gentlemen, the drinking club with killer teas, and their newest drop, The Drunkest Place on Earth. And if you're a big Disney fan like I am, this tea is perfect for park hopping with a buzz. First-timers get 20% off with the code WELCOME, but my Taproom listeners, you guys get 25% off. Just use the promo code Taproom Podcast at checkout and stay classy and never spill. And now, on to the episode. All right, and we're back. This is episode 116 of the Taproom Podcast, and I'm your host, Mike. Oh man, it is Sunday morning, around 8:30, recording this intro, and 116 episodes. Here we go, boys and girls. Big shout out to Andrew Crowe, who was on this episode. This is first time on the show, and he was from Howling Rabbit's Beer Works. I'm just super grateful. Thank you, man, for I was just visiting Texas for work and be able to, get something planned out literally on the fly. Like it was so I had reached out to another brewery out there. I didn't hear back, but we're actually now, me and that brewery are planning something for when I go back out to Texas later on in the year for work. So, but yeah, when I came to Andrew, a friend of mine from work actually set it up. Like he's like, hey, this is the person's Instagram, send them a message. I was like, all right, sweet. And within about an hour, we had everything planned out. So it was great. I landed, went to my hotel, checked in, and then straight to the brewery to go record. And I couldn't have asked for a better interview. It was great. There's some really cool stuff that we talk about. I don't want to spoil anything, but the story about him and his dad. It's just really cool. And honestly, just such a really good, down-to-earth person, and honestly a phenomenal brewer. They make really great beer. So if you're ever in South Texas, you need to, you owe it to yourself to get down to Howling Rabbit's Beer Works. Great food, great beer. Honestly, the vibes there are just really badass too. So let's see. Before we jump into the episode, World Beer Cup was just the other day. I am not going to go through everybody, all the winners. This would probably be a 3-hour episode if I did that. But I did want to highlight, some of the people that have been on the show, and obviously some other people that I just really love. Obviously love their beer. Rip won a medal. Made West won a couple of medals. So shout out. Pizza Port won a couple of medals. Even Beechwood, I want to say they won one or two. I don't remember if it was more than one. But it was funny. I was drinking they won silver for Party Crusher. And I was drinking, I'd stopped by Ramirez Liquor in Pico before I went to go visit my uncle. And I was like, oh, I'm going to get that. I want to try it, but I didn't know that they had won for it. This was the other day. I think it was Wednesday. I can't remember. But I posted a picture of it, and Dario reaches out, and he's like, oh, dude, that just won for American IPA. I think it was. That was really good though. Really solid beer. Oh, another one that I thought was really cool because both of these breweries are awesome. Alvarado Street, one gold for American style sour, and then Other Brother out in Monterey. But I love that brewery. If you guys are ever in that area, in that part of in California, you got to go there to Other Brother. It's so good. And even Alvarado's there as well. Also, Ism won a couple of medals. Claremont Craft Ales won gold with for peppers and peaches. I love that beer. Love that beer. Claremont Craft Ales, anybody from there, if you're listening, I'd love to have you on the show. I love your beer. Just think it'd be fun. All right. Let's see. Sierra Nevada won a gold. How badass is that? Sierra Nevada, man. And that's been so many people's when I was asked what the beer that got them into craft beer was, and so many answers have been Sierra Nevada, but they won a gold for an ESB. And I love ESBs. You don't see them on menus very often, but man, that ESBs, when they're done right, they're so, so good. My brother from another mother, Mike Crowe from Unsung, won 2 silver medals, one for Red Vespa, one for Super Smash. Super happy, super proud of you, man. And as soon as, actually, Art's the one that texted me because I was still working. But when I saw that they had won, I texted Mike right away and said, man, that's so fucking awesome. He was so stoked. He was just, so proud. So good for you, bro. Some other ones, man. Also, my buddy Danny from Tustin Brewing. Like, good for you, bro. He won a bronze. So happy for you, man. Got to grab a beer soon. And let's see. Oh, there's some other ones that won. Obviously, North Park, Gamecraft won everywhere. Also, shout out to Dave and Alex. I know I gave a shout out the other day because they won at the California Brewers Cup, but they won another medal at World Beer Cup. So, man, that's so awesome. So, congratulations to you guys. Super stoked for everybody that won. And that's why this community is so great. I'm just, super happy for everybody, not just the California breweries, but every brewery out there. Because I mean, as much as I'd say I'd love to visit them all, that would be a tall task. But I truly am grateful for letting me be a part of a small part of your industry, and just to be able to talk to you guys and over a beer and hear your story is awesome. So anything I can do to support. All right, what else we got? Before we jump into the episode? My Avalanche loss broke my fucking heart yesterday, man. You know what? It's crazy too because I don't let sports bother me as much as I used to. I used to let it ruin my day, and I didn't let it ruin my day yesterday. I was fine, but I was just like, dang man, they were up 2-0 in the third period and then blew it, lost 3-2. Crazy stuff. Can't make that's why. But I've said it, the entire time. Playoff hockey there's just nothing like it. There's nothing like it. Also, it's one of my favorite days of the year. It is May the 4th, and May the 4th be with you. And I'm just going to pretend like you guys say, and also with you back. But I love Star Wars, and I grew up watching it with my dad. I remember buying the box set from Costco when I was a kid, or he bought it for me. I didn't buy it for myself, and just sitting back, just being fully enthralled in the whole thing. And there's nights where I'll just come home and I'll just throw on Star Wars. I'll just throw on either any of the movies really, except for I'm not the biggest fan of the newer trilogy, so don't hate me or whatever. But I mean, even going back to Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones is okay, but I love Empire. Probably sound like a fanboy for saying that, but it's true. Also, I love the movie Fanboys as well. That movie's hilarious. If you guys are Star Wars fans and you haven't seen Fanboys, you need to watch it. It's fucking hilarious. But yeah, I'm super stoked for the day. I'm going to go down to Louis Liquor in Azusa and pick up some of their Star Wars themed beers. So definitely got to go get some of those. I'm also recording later today over at Burning Bridge, and then I'm going to go hang out with Luis for a little bit. But yeah, I think it's time we jump into the episode. I think that sounds about right. Sorry, I'm a little out of it today. But yeah, all right, so let's jump into the episode. I hope you guys enjoy the interview with Andrew. He is, like I said, just a really great guy. I hope you guys enjoy it. Stay tuned for the outro. All right, guys, we're back in the tap room, and I'm your host, Mike, and I have a very special guest on the show today. It is Andrew Crowe, because I said his name wrong in the first intro. Andrew Crowe of Howling Rabbit's Beer Works out in McAllen, Texas. How's it going, man?
It's going well, man. How are you doing today?
Doing well. Just got in. Coming straight to the brewery so I could talk to you.
Nice. All right. Just finishing up one of my brews right now, too. Making 19 rabbits in a trench coat.
Oh, nice. What style is that?
So it's our rotating IPA series. Every time we brew it, we change up a hop or we adjust the style a little bit just to keep it fresh for us. And then we add another rabbit in the trench coat. So, one after that will be 20 rabbits in the trench coat. And
there you
21.
go.
So when I hit 400, I'll retire.
There you go. Love it. Oh, man. So I'm having the lagered ale. What was the name of it?
So it's a Dragon Fruit Pup Cup.
Okay.
That was actually a collaboration we did with the local animal rescue.
Yeah.
So every pint of that sold, we donate $1 to the animal rescue. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, drinking for a good cause, for the puppies.
Oh yeah, gotta love it.
Mm-hmm.
No, but that's really really good.
Thank you.
It's super light, but it's still really kind of fruit forward. I feel like
yeah. We try to make it very fruit forward while at the same time not making it sweet enough that you feel like you have to brush your teeth.
Yeah,
you still want it to be refreshing. I like to call it I just mowed the grass beer.
Oh yeah,
mow the grass, pound one of those, and having a great day.
100%, man. So what's the first one you're gonna be having?
All right. So I brought us a little flight. This is our Palm City Blonde. So that'll be that one there. Yep.
Okay.
This is our light. It is a lagered ale. Yeah. So it's a Kolsch technically, right?
Yeah.
But we call it a blonde. Makes people understand what that is and kind of drink a little bit more. But it's light, easy drinking, real refreshing, very true to style German style beer. So cheers.
Okay.
Yeah, nice.
Cheers, man.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's good stuff, man.
Thank you. Yeah, we traditional hops on this one. Normally Kolsch's are a little grassy. We try to tone that down just a little bit. Yeah, it's nice. It's real refreshing. It's a labor of love. A lot of these beers are a labor of love.
Definitely, man. So, tell me, man, how'd your craft beer journey start? How did it all start for you?
Well, so grew up here in McAllen. There is a local ale house in South McAllen called Roosevelt's at 7.
Okay.
My dad took me there when I was 20 years old, and he gave me a La Fin de Mon.
Nice.
And it was my first craft beer, and at that point, it was just all downhill from there.
Yeah.
Before I even turned 21, I started working at Roosevelt's. My dad had to sit there with beer school for me, because in Texas, you can give alcohol to a minor as long as the parent is sitting in the same room, and you give it to the parent, and the parent gives it to the minor.
Okay, didn't know that.
Yeah, so he sat down with me, did beer school, and then, from there, I worked at Roosevelt's for a few years, decided to move to Colorado, and just really pursue my passion of brewing.
That's awesome.
Yeah, beer's fun,
Yeah. So I didn't know that. I didn't know that you could do that here in Texas. I was like, man, I wish maybe I was down here a little bit and my dad could have given me some beers, but so I wouldn't have to sneak them,
Yeah. Well, there's always some of that. Like, hey, go get me a Guinness and you can try some. I'm like, oh, nice.
Oh, yeah.
And
when you get over to Colorado, was it just because of the craft beer scene that you wanted to get out there because all the different breweries out there, or was it just something that kind of like a job offer came up? Or
so I applied for a beer science program at Regis. Applied on a whim. Was like, yeah, let's see what happens.
Yeah.
They accept 21 people a year, and I got in. I was like, oh shit.
Oh man, that's awesome.
Class starts in 2 weeks. I gotta go now.
Yeah.
So moved right away. Went to the program for a little bit. Ended up not being for me. Everyone I went and brewed with was like, nope, just get out of there. You'll learn more on the job than that's not useful. I'm like, okay, cool. But I worked at World of Beer while I was up there. I was the product manager. So I got to order all these fun beers, and, being in beer Mecca, Colorado, it was really cool getting to try all sorts of crazy stuff. Everyone doing silly things, chocolate lobster beers and CBD infused IPAs and all sorts of wild stuff. But that's where all the really cool cutting edge recipes and stuff is kind of coming out of. It's fun. It's a neat place.
Yeah. I feel like there's always trends in craft beer.
Yes. And everyone's always trying to catch that trend and ride that and, make their own trends. And it's a fun scene.
Oh yeah, for sure. I was going to ask you about a style, because I know trends out in California, obviously hazy's got really big, but I mean, they've always been big on the East Coast.
Yeah.
Did that kind of wave hit South Texas as well?
Yes and no. The New England hazy IPA craze is kind of everywhere right now. But I will say the Rio Grande Valley as a whole is very underserviced as a beer consumer area. A lot of the IPAs and stuff we get are very old.
Okay.
And if you don't know better, you're just, oh, it's a cool IPA, cool.
Yeah.
But, anybody, I've got a level 2 Cicerone, right? So I drink an old IPA and I'm like, oh, it tastes like cardboard.
Yeah.
I can taste that.
You got to check that canned on date.
Exactly, right? And a lot of the stuff that gets here before it even hits the shelf, it's already 6 months old.
Mm-hmm.
And that's unacceptable as a craft beer enjoyer and connoisseur, if you will. But so yeah, that was one of the reasons we opened up this place, was make sure people had good, fresh craft beer that, it also, the area down here, because all this stuff is old and, the IPA trends before New England's, which was just let's shove hops down people's throats.
Let's make it as bitter as possible.
Yeah, that just turned people away from craft beer and IPAs in general, right? So it's been a fun education down here being no, hoppy doesn't mean bitter. We can make something super hoppy without destroying your palate for the next 2 days.
Yeah.
And so, that's kind of where we're at right now. Our IPA series, the Rabbits in a Trench Coat, has been a New England for the last 4 iterations.
Okay.
That's what this one is right here. The next one we're doing, the one I'm brewing right now, we're actually taking the West Coast malt profile with the New England hop profile and kind of making a Gulf Coast IPA.
Love that.
Yeah, just trying to have fun with it, keep it fresh. You make chicken 9,000 times, you want a steak.
Yeah.
So
that's what craft beer is all about, man.
Yeah. So that's what we're doing today. But yeah, it's honestly, our IPA has been flying off the shelves, especially once people have started to really understand that, once again, it's not hoppy doesn't mean bitter. It's gaining traction. It's one of our fastest moving beers now.
That's great.
And, when we were opening up this place, everyone was like, avoid IPAs. No one wants them.
Yeah.
And we were like, we're going to do it.
Yeah. I mean, and that's the thing. I mean, that's why I've always felt like beer education is so important because, I mean, you can build trust there. Like, and like you said, somebody will try something and then they'll be like, oh, that person told me to try that. So I'm going to go back there because I want to try something different. And I'm sure they'll probably guide me to the right place.
Exactly.
Where they want to go.
One of my favorite things to say is beer is like ice cream. Like there's a flavor for everybody.
100%.
You just got to find it, and
oh, yeah.
Sometimes you got to wade through a whole lot of bad beers, but when you find the one you like, you're like,
Yep.
wow, that was amazing. You're like, I want this forever now.
Yeah. I close every episode with find your beer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. I love that.
Yeah, because it's like a motto, not just for like, this is the craft beer community, but just like in general in life, find something that makes you happy.
Exactly. You know, if it's coffee, go and try some really good coffee and experience the nuances of really good stuff. Yeah, it's fun. I kind of take that approach with beer. Beer should have a beginning, a middle, and an end when it comes to flavor.
Yeah.
And so, if we're not accomplishing that, we go back to the drawing board and well, something's wrong. Let's fix this.
100%.
Yeah. So
I can't get that Gulf Coast IPA out of my head. Like I'm like, man, I wish was closer. But I would want to try that so bad. Oh, that sounds like a marriage that I would love.
Right. Yeah. I'm pretty excited for it, if I'm being honest.
Do you guys do crowlers?
We do.
Okay. I'll send you some money. You ship me a crowler. We'll get out because I want to try that so bad.
Okay. Yeah, we can do something.
Now, did you homebrew at all before?
Yeah. I started with a friend. So my very first time brewing, I just graduated college with my parents in Hawaii. We were there for 2.5 weeks, and I spent pretty much every single day at the Maui Brewing Company. The coconut porter is without a doubt one of my favorite beers of all time.
Yeah.
And on one of my last days there, they're like, come brew with us. I'm like, oh shit. Okay, cool. So, show up the next morning.
Yeah.
Shaving coconuts and blowtorching them. So that was fun,
Yeah.
But
some free labor there.
Once again, it was just all downhill from there. I came home and was like, well, we're starting to homebrew. And, we're pulling all these recipes out of our butt. And it was a wild time. Me and my friend at the time were brewing at least once a week. And we're going through 5 gallons of beer every week. It was fun. It was a fun time. And then, that's what really was like, okay, I think I can do this for a living. I'm going to move to Colorado now and see what happens.
That's so cool, man. I mean, so many people in life can be just afraid of taking that risk or, taking that leap, and you did it.
Yeah. I was working at Roosevelt's at the time, and there was an old man that came in and said, what are you afraid of moving for? You're not a tree. You can just get up and move.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay.
And you're right.
A week later, I was in Colorado.
Yeah, you're like, I'm gone now.
Yeah. So that was our Blonde Ale. Very approachable beer. We have one beer that's a little bit lighter than that. It's kind of the base style for that pup cup.
Okay.
That is our attempt to kill Michelob Ultra. We sell other people's beer in-house, but we'd like to sell ours over there. So,
of course.
It's nice, light, 4% beer, super easy drinking.
It's awesome. Man, congratulations on how well you're doing right now. You know what? Oh, yeah, let's do the next one here. What are we having next?
So we'll move on to this red hair here. So this is our Dusseldorf-style alt beer.
Oh.
This beer is an extreme labor of love. We literally emulate the mineral content of the water from Dusseldorf, Germany.
Wow.
It's got 9 different specialty malts in it. Yeah, it's a pain in the butt, but it's
your baby.
It's complex. The brewery I was working with in Golden City Brewery, we got a gold medal for this beer at the Great American Beer Festival. So it was the best in North America, Delicious recipe, very true to style. And like I said earlier, it's definitely got that beginning, middle, and a nice, strong finish. So.
Yeah. Well, congratulations on that medal, too.
Thank you.
It's no easy task, man.
Yeah, that was a fun year.
Yeah.
So, light on the palate while still having nice caramel notes, ending with a little bit of that roast, but nothing too heavy, not going to sit.
Yeah, I was going to say, what was that on the, it was kind of like something that cuts through right there. What is that?
There's a Cara Munich malt. Right.
Okay.
And there's 3 different varieties for it, and they get progressively darker. And the darker you get, the more of that, almost astringent, coffee bitter flavor comes through. And so we actually use type 1, type 2, and type 3 because just a little bit of that type 3 kind of cuts through the sweetness that the other 2 adds.
Yeah, because it is you get that sweet maltiness in the beginning, and then there was what you just said, it just cut right through, and that's so good.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite beers. If you see me sitting down, I'm either drinking this or the coconut porter, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, the drinkability for sure, man.
And that's what we got to go for. It's hot as all hell outside.
Yeah.
9 months out of the year, if not 10 months out of the year.
Yeah.
So we need light, refreshing beers that aren't going to sit heavy and not going to make you feel super bloated or just hate yourself 2 minutes later. So that's what we go for, just refreshing, fun, easy drinking beers. Have 2 or 3 of these and not hate yourself, you know?
Yeah, you're doing it.
Mhm.
Yeah, you're definitely doing it, man. And I know we talked a little bit off air about, because when I was up in Dallas last month, I got to talk to Jacob from On Rotation and the other Jacob from Pedicolis up there, and I asked him like what the craft beer scene like was up there, and I know it's kind of like starting to like almost like what it was in California like 15 years ago. It's it's on the uptick.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, and for you guys, it's you guys 5x5. Have there has been like what's it been like out here for you guys?
Because craft beer isn't huge down here, we've had to kind of make a name for ourselves and really push craft beer and kind of get the public to be like, oh, we have a brewery in town. They were coming here to watch sports games and stuff and be like, oh, cool, they happen to have a brewery. And now people are coming and being like, oh, they have beer here. Like, this is why we're coming. Sports are a nice second. But yeah, it's the beer scene, because I'm also part of like a lot of brewers chat groups and like all sorts of stuff like that. I will say it is still growing as a whole, but it's starting to get to the point where the bubble might pop a little bit. We were seeing a lot of breweries close down. I think for the first time, we're actually starting to see the number of breweries opening to breweries closing kind of almost meeting in the middle, which is kind of a terrifying thought. But, there was a lot of breweries that opened up right before COVID happened. COVID was a killer for a lot of the brewing industry.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, a lot of service industry in general, but particularly brewery.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, like I would say you see the quality of beer overall is getting stronger and better on the market.
Yeah.
And you are having some of those breweries that really can't keep up, or aren't making the quality product that people are looking for, really starting to fall, close their doors.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like a lot of times, even like before COVID, I felt like people thought like, oh, I can open up a brewery because it'll be a good investment. And it's like, not to say that it couldn't be if you're making quality product, but you have to have the right people in place.
Exactly.
Like, you got to have the right brew team. You got to have the right servers. You got to have like incorporate beer education, all those different things. But if you're just throwing money at it thinking it's going to work, it's, you're setting yourself up to fail.
Yeah. It's the same mindset people have with restaurants and stuff like that. They're like, oh, I can open a restaurant. I cook at home.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh, there's so much more involved. Like, yeah. And, brewing, there's one thing about, having recipes and stuff, but brewing is 90% technique and processes, and something is going to go wrong.
Yeah.
And you got to know how to fix it without panicking or like, like this morning I was saying, one of my burners went out. So I had to crawl under there and, fix the mount and, hold it up in place and click the button and like, hope the jet engine doesn't burn me. It was a fun morning. But, if I had to do that when I first started brewing, I would have been lost. Like, oh, I don't know what to do. I would have panicked, And it's like I said, brewing is a lot of trial and error and just knowing what to do when crap hits the fan,
Oh yeah. I mean, I feel like even like when people first start, I mean, even we talked about like maybe like the craft beer like bubble has kind of starting to pop a little bit, but how like sometimes it can be so daunting just to like, because there's so much information out there as well. So like, but I mean, I always feel like, man, it shouldn't deter you from wanting it. If anything, it should encourage you because there is so much information out there. Back then, like everybody just had to read books, right?
Yeah. I mean, the other problem with having so much information, though, is a lot of it is wrong.
That's true too. Yeah.
There's been times where I've looked up online, like, okay, I'm trying to do trivia questions for like the beer festivals we did yesterday, right?
Yeah.
And like I'm punching in something. I know the answer to this question. I want to see what Google says. And Google was super wrong.
Yeah.
They were like, haze comes from wheat and hops. And it's like, no, not even a little bit. It comes from yeast and oats. Those are the only two things that matter when it comes to sustainable yeast haze in beer.
Oh yeah.
But things like that. So it is very daunting though. Honestly, like I've met a lot of people that brew very successfully at home and then they get into the large scale and it is not a 1-to-1. It wasn't like, I had 2 pounds here and it's going to be 20 pounds here.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of trial and error. I was fortunate. I learned from people who have been in the industry for decades. Charlie over at GCB, the old brewmaster there, he started Tommy Knocker. He started a bunch of other breweries.
Okay.
I think GCB had like license number 6 or something like that for Colorado. Like,
wow.
They were there since 91, yeah.
Jeez.
And like, it was really cool, learning from like just really knowledgeable people. My dad used to tell me all the time, is it a smart man learns from his mistakes and a wise man learns from the mistakes of others.
Yeah.
Having him as a resource was invaluable,
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So cool. want to ask you, like, also, like, bring like talking about Texas, like, how do you like incorporate local culture into like, either the beer or like just the atmosphere of the brewery?
Yeah. So, even Howling Rabbits itself is a reference to Aztec mythology or, Mexican
Okay,
mythology. The rabbits come together and they drink. They're like a collective god of inebriation, if you will. Each rabbit is a different aspect of it. But, we
love it,
try to use local ingredients. I really listen to what the customers are digging and try to go, okay, you're liking apricots. We'll do an apricot wheat beer.
love
Like,
it.
oh, you're liking this. We'll lean into here.
That's great.
But, we try to do like we have a local grapefruit producer in town in the area, and we're going to be getting a bunch of grapefruits from them and try to do a beer, just little things like that, and try to. We did this coconut porter, right? I did a Mexican chocolate variant of that.
Okay,
It was delicious.
I bet.
Yeah. So just little things like that, and yeah, we can't go too crazy, We're still in the education phase, but yeah,
Yeah,
we're having fun with it, and it comes through. People enjoy it.
that's great, man. I mean, it's cool, like, when you can, like, throw those different types of beers out there, like, and even that's one of the questions I want to ask you, like, your coach, like, your approach to recipe development, but also, like, because I'm sure you guys have your course, right?
Mhm.
But, like, balancing the creativity and consistency part of it as well. So we can start with the recipe part for you. Like, how does that start? For like, where do you begin?
So I have, at this point in my career, I've made enough beers and I can start putting together a recipe. I've
Yeah.
got a massive Excel sheet that I use that's
Okay.
been put together over the course of 7 years.
Yeah.
But, I can punch in how much of each grain weight-wise, and it'll tell me how much percentage-wise I'll be getting from that. For alcohol, how much color SRM I'll get from it. But at the same time, I know I've used, once again, trial and error, right? So I've
Yeah.
used
Yep.
some grains too much in the past and know, like, okay, that's way too much. Let's pull this back.
Okay.
And then so recipe development for us is a lot of educated guessing, if you will.
Okay.
I've got a hard drive of like the last 6 years worth of recipes that I've done, so I can always go back and reference what I've done in the past,
Yeah.
what numbers I hit with all those beers. And then one of the things I do, because I'm extremely anal about beer, is every time I brew a beer, so I've got a different recipe sheet for every single brew. And on the third page of that is tasting notes. And I will actually fill out one of those weird, like, it's got pungent note, it's
Okay.
got biscuity notes, and fill out those weird, like, web graphs and do notes. So 6 years down the line, I can go back to that recipe and be like, oh, okay, I did this. Well, I don't want that characteristic, so I'm going to pull this out. I'm a super taster for black malt. I don't know what it is, but there's any black malt in the beer, it is not my favorite thing. So, I've had to brew like black IPAs in the past that had some black malt. So trying to do those again is like, okay, well, how can I work around that,
Yeah.
that version that I have? Because at the end of the day, I want to make beer that I enjoy,
Oh yeah. Of course.
So,
Black
but yeah,
IPAs are great. And do you see them more out here? I mean, at least like, no, not really.
it is a
Okay.
dead style. It is one of my favorite styles of
It's
beer,
great.
and it is extremely dead. We did a black IPA collaboration with a brewery in Brownsville called Pluton.
Okay.
It just came out. We actually just got a keg yesterday and just
Oh,
tapped
nice.
that. Really good. Pretty happy with that one. So yeah, like I said, it's a dead style, but it's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
I've actually got a pretty fun story with that. One of my old sales reps ended up becoming the Odell sales rep, like
Okay.
for like the entire state of Colorado, like one of
Oh,
the big
wow.
managers. And they used to make Mountain Standard, which was the best black IPA on the books. Whenever I taught beer school for World of Beer, that was the textbook like example of a black IPA.
Wow.
She called me one day and was like, "Hey, I got bad news. They're changing it. It's
Yeah.
going to be a triple IPA and it's no longer going to be black." And it's just like,
Oh.
I hate you.
Yeah.
Why did you do this to me? Why did you call me to tell me this? And yeah, not enough people make them and more people should.
Yeah.
So
Man, they're fantastic. I was at a homebrew fest yesterday, and there was like 3 or 4 different, there was like, I think 70 different homebrewers
oh
there.
wow.
And like 3 or 4 of them that I saw had black IPAs. I had to order one at each
Yeah.
one. They're all great though.
Were they? Oh,
Yeah, I was like so stoked because like that, I'm like, even like browns, you don't see browns on menu, or reds or stuff like that, or
Yeah.
ambers for that matter.
mhm.
But when you do see them, it's like I have to at least get a taster of it.
Yeah. One of the breweries I worked at in the past, Oasis, they had an
Okay.
amazing brown ale. And like that was one of the reasons I wanted to work there. I was like,
Yeah.
wow, that King Tut brown is
Yeah.
phenomenal.
Yeah.
So
How do you make it?
yeah. And I learned that was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man.
Mhm.
What's your favorite style to brew? Well, do brew and drink. I know the black IPAs are your favorite. So
it's one of let's see. Favorite styles is probably going to be IPAs, just because or like New England IPA, just because I can do crazy, fun, weird stuff with it.
Yeah.
Our anniversary beer, which I'll be brewing on probably Tuesday of this week, is going to be a big old milkshake IPA with a lot of peaches. So I'm going to add about 200 pounds of real peach to the beer and let it ferment down, and we'll see what happens, man. Big old Mexican vanilla, all that fun stuff. So I'm real excited.
Oh, that's going to be tasty.
Oh, yeah. Like peach rings and hops and...
Oh, yeah. Dang.
Delicious.
So good. What's this?
This is our Cosmic Cocoa. This is our coconut porter.
Ooh.
So this one has 100 pounds of hand-toasted, unsweetened organic coconut.
Okay.
It's actually, I take it back. This is my favorite brew day because I get to blowtorch with a flamethrower a whole bunch of coconut, man. It's a lot of fun. I feel like Ramstein up there with the flamethrower. You know? Entire brewery smells like a giant coconut brownie. It is a fun beer. But we use the coconut as a grain as opposed to sticking it in the fermenter. In my experience, that causes the beer to go a little rancid.
Yeah.
And you can definitely taste when someone stuck whole coconut in a fermenter. Using it as a grain, we're able to get a lot of the flavor out of it without getting the oils and without getting all the other stuff. It turns out really good. And because it's a real coconut, it doesn't taste like sunscreen, which is very important to me.
Oh, yeah. That's really good.
Thank you.
And I'm not like the biggest coconut person. Like, I mean, I should, because I have some family that's from Hawaii and we would have it all the time.
Okay.
But I do enjoy the coconut porter from Maui Brewing. And this is me and my brother would always say, if you're going to put this is what's on in the beer, I better be able to freaking taste it.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's what, we also, once again, didn't want it to be sweet. I didn't want you to feel like you had to brush your teeth after you have this.
Not at all.
So, we take it's an English style porter, which English beers are 5 to 5.5%, nothing crazy.
Yeah.
A little lighter on the palate. So we're really going for an almond joy without the diabetes, and honestly, I think we really pulled that off with this one. Really happy with the way this beer turned out.
Yeah. It's I don't know, I was getting almost smoky notes, but maybe that's because of the torch.
Mm-hmm. No, we toast the hell out of that coconut.
Yeah. Man, is there a video of you using the torch? Just because I would love to put that on the reel when this comes out eventually.
I'll see if I can find one.
If somebody's got it, then send it over.
If not, I've got one where I'm just Ramstein it up,
Yeah, I love it.
Shooting flames in the air.
Oh, that'd be awesome. But no, this is really good though, man.
Thank you.
Great job. Thank you.
Yeah.
And thanks for letting me come down, man. I just, anytime I go somewhere, first thing I usually do is straight to go check in, straight to a brewery, and then try to find someone I could talk to, man. Because it's always it's cool to be able to. I love hearing people's success stories.
Yeah, I love talking about beer. So anytime I got a captive audience, I will talk your ear off.
Oh yeah, man, I'm all in.
But yeah, once again, try to have a beginning, a middle, and an end with the beer. So it starts off with a little bit of that chocolate notes, get a lot of that coconut bloom in the middle.
Oh yeah,
and then it ends with that nice, deep, almost coffee-like flavors.
It doesn't linger.
Yeah. I'm trying to, we've done this before in the past with the coffee.
Yeah.
And I added a little bit of the super strong cold brew, astringency.
Yeah.
And with this one, a little heavier on the dark chocolate malt. So it gives you a little bit of that dark chocolate astringency as opposed to the bitterness from the coffee.
Okay.
So it's pretty good. I like this beer live.
It's
really
a good.
fun variant.
Yeah. And like I said, I love it. Because, we talked about earlier how, back when Stone was doing its thing, not to say that there was anything wrong with it. Some people liked it, some people didn't, but just shoving those IBUs down your throat, and that shit would stay on your on your palate for like I said, a couple of days at least.
Mm-hmm.
At least it felt like it. But when something like this, I love it when you can do it like that, especially a hoppy call them West Coast Pilsners or something like that, because those are super big in California right now.
Okay.
In the LA Orange County area.
Hoppy pills.
Oh yeah, dude.
Okay.
Oh yeah,
I love a good hoppy pills.
Yeah, I mean, I love pilsners and lagers too. If I can, I'll always. That's usually the first thing I order, because I know if that's done right, everything else is in that in that establishment is going to be good for the most part.
You can't hide imperfections in a blonde ale.
Yeah,
so
it's good.
No, definitely agree with that. Thank you.
No, very good. I know I need to get back to it because I don't want it to get warm on me.
Oh, we'll top you off. Yeah, that one was fun. So we did dragon fruit and boysenberry in that one. So just enough that you get it, but not enough that you, like I said, feel like you have to go brush your teeth.
Oh yeah,
just real refreshing.
Nah, that's right. I mean, it's like you said, it's a lawnmower beer, summer beer for sure. If you guys can that, I'd probably go to the post office and send myself some. Pretty damn good.
I'll just let you like it.
Yeah. What are some of the biggest challenges you feel like you faced like throughout your entire journey?
Well, let's say the biggest one's probably, at least down here, is just having to educate everybody on the beer and stuff. Like, it's a fun thing. I love talking about beer. In fact, I'm doing a big beer school April 7th for a bunch of customers coming in.
That's awesome.
Pulling up a PowerPoint presentation. Like,
that's cool.
back in ancient Samaria, going way back.
Going back to Egypt.
Yeah, right before that.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, the Sumerians. Yeah,
man stopped being a nomadic society because we planted grain, and we're like, oh, we can make beer.
Yeah.
And so they stopped. We had beer 4,000 years before we had bread.
Yeah.
Think about that. It's kind of fun.
That's how you know it's good.
Yeah. It's one of the cool things too. Beer really, I feel like it unites us as people all throughout history. Making beer forever. For all different types.
Yep.
But yeah, in terms of challenges down here, we have extremely hard water. So Culligan, the water people, are working really hard to keep our RO system up and running at peak performance. They're changing out our filters at least once a month. We're like, in Colorado, we were doing that every 6 months because the water was perfect,
Yeah.
So we do have to have a really good RO system. I do have to basically have a perfect blank slate for when it comes to water. And then I get to add minerals to emulate, whatever style I'm trying to replicate. That, the education stuff. In Colorado, in Denver in particular, it was really nice. When I would order grain, I could just drive and pick it up.
Okay.
Here, it's like 3-4 days later, I get my grain.
Yeah.
So, I don't have that luxury of like, oh, dang, I don't have this grain I need for the brew. Like, I'll be back in 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, crap.
Yeah.
Like, let me work around this, or like, let me, delay this 4 days.
Yeah.
So,
that's about it. I know it's kind of like, because obviously in California, like a lot of like Colorado we talked about, but like it's a lot easier to get, like, you can just call a brewery and be like, hey, can you do that? So I'm sure that it's tough.
TABC is without a doubt the worst government agency that's ever existed. They do absolutely nothing for breweries and give all the power to the distributors.
Yeah. So
TABC, actually, I take it back. TABC is the worst part about opening a brewery in Texas. In fact, I do not do it just because of TABC.
Okay.
They also take 3-4 weeks to approve a beer label. And
really?
Yeah, man. In Colorado, it was literally like, we're calling it this. Slap a sticker on it and send it out.
They have to approve it out here?
Oh, yeah. So not only do I have to get the state to approve it, I have to get the federal government to approve it because of Texas laws.
Wow.
Yeah, it's really stupid, if I'm being honest.
That's crazy.
And because we have, they also have really antiquated brew pub laws. So because we sell liquor in our brewery, we cannot self-distribute. We have to go through a distributor.
Wow.
Yeah, right. Little things like that. I'm like, why? Just gumming up the works for no reason. So, so we did. We signed up with a distributor. We distribute about 5 barrels a month throughout the entire Rio Grande Valley. We got a couple places down at the island, a couple places in Brownsville, a lot of stuff here in McAllen. It's only so much beer we have to give out because we consume a lot in-house.
Of course.
But yeah, it's cool. It's nice going places and be like, oh, look, there's my beer on tap.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's a cool feeling,
Oh, I bet. I mean, and I don't say I love the brew house. I really like the look of the brew house. It looks really cool.
Thank you. Yeah, I jumped on this project when they were kind of like, okay, hey, the first brewer wasn't really doing what he needed to be doing. Yeah. So they were like, hey, guys, are you ready to step up to the plate? And I was like, yep, thank you. I'm super ready for this. Look at all this.
Yeah.
So, they already had the footprint for me. I had to just make it work for what I had envisioned for the brewery, right? So
of course
we got those stacked tanks. I think it's 900 square feet. It's a really small brew house when you think about it in terms of functional space.
Yeah, square footage.
Yeah. So, we've got our mill upstairs and it feeds down and we've had to work around little things, but we've made it work really well for us.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite parts about doing collaborations with other breweries. It's not necessarily what you learn from them. It's seeing how they go about brewing. Every brewery is different. Everyone does their own processes. It is really neat going somewhere and I'm like, oh, that's how you skin the cat. Okay, that's interesting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Love it. Because it is because obviously the size of it's almost because it could be a pilot system so you can experiment and stuff like that, right? What's the most unique ingredient you feel like you've ever thrown into a beer?
Ooh.
That one just came to my top of my head. I know it wasn't on the list.
Ooh, that was not. Unique ingredients. In terms of fruits, I got to use, we did a dragon fruit sour. And we added 180 pounds of dragon fruit.
Holy shit.
And that was the most beautiful pink purple color I've ever seen in my entire life.
Nice.
I want my car painted in that. Like it was beautiful. And like,
love it.
That was a really cool thing to see. You know, we use only real fruit in all our beers.
Uh-huh.
So that was cool to see. In terms of non-fruits, you know, I've done in Colorado, we did a Thomas Jefferson chicken beer. He has a recipe where he cooked the chicken in the beer. He got a bunch of spices and stuff like that. We did it for a little fundraiser. Yeah, and we sold the chicken afterwards. And juiciest chicken I've ever had in my life.
Oh, there you go.
But you know, the beer was okay. You know? A little salty, but it was good.
Tastes like chicken noodle.
Yeah, pretty much. With a little bit of like a rosemary and stuff for bittering.
Okay.
Yeah, it was.
Man. I mean, I would definitely try the chicken.
It was interesting. You know, it was definitely an interesting beer. But yeah, you know, we've done, like right now, I've got a French toast variant on that coconut porter.
Okay.
So it's got cinnamon, a little maple syrup, some vanilla as well. And like, that's pretty fun. You know, trying to get maple syrup in a fermenter is always a blast.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man. I mean, I can imagine that getting pretty messy.
Yeah, sticky, man. Sticky.
Yeah.
That, you know, I make wort, right? You know, brewers make wort, yeast makes beer.
Yeah.
That's one of the first lines in my brewer's textbook, and it's very true. And wort is the stickiest thing in the entire world. It is.
Yeah.
It is absolute nightmare when you hose pops or something and you just get splattered with hot wort. And one, it's hot, and two, it's sticky as all hell.
Yeah.
And it's just not good. I had a time in Colorado, I was walking to and from work because I lived less than a mile away.
Yeah.
Had a hose pop and spray me.
Oh, no.
And then had to walk home a mile. It was just like the stickiest, grossest walk I've ever done in my life.
Would you say that that's your worst brew day of all time?
Second worst. Okay. I had very similar situation. We had so when you're making a sour and you're adding it in your sour biome into the tank, you cannot have oxygen. Otherwise, it makes what's called butyric acid, which is baby vomit.
Yeah.
And, well, we were doing shift brewing, and the brewer before me pumped it into the wrong tank, left everything set up. So I come in, I'm like, okay, cool, we're going into this tank today, I guess. Let's go. I'm pumping it in. And then it just so happens that the plate chiller broke and started spraying everywhere. But it was spraying butyric acid, baby vomit beer. So I had to jump in there, you know, 20 PSI, trying to clamp this thing down, being sprayed with shame. And then I had to walk home. And then I had to walk a mile home smelling like, you know, buttholes and shame and just sadness. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the worst brew day.
Oh, man.
By far.
You know what's weird? Like when you, like speaking of like baby vomit, it's like anything guava for me, like in a beer, gives me those vibes.
Oh, okay. Well,
but I know some people. I mean, it might have just been the beer, but I don't know.
Just missed it. But we normally have a guava sour on tap. It's one of our mainstay staple beers.
Oh, there you go.
Is one of our fastest selling beers because it's mainly guava. Like it is 220 pounds of fruit in a beer.
Some people love it and kudos to them. I wish I could love guava beers. But or like even like sours and stuff. Like I love sours, but guava sours I can't. Yeah,
I get you. I've met people that have so some people taste passion fruit and it's very musky for them.
See, I like passion fruit. Yeah. Passion fruit's good. Guava,
you might have that gene. Same people have taste cilantro and taste soap.
Oh, yeah, that's me.
It's
okay.
Very similar thing. So
I guess I got both.
Yeah. Oh wow. That's interesting.
Yeah.
I had a friend come down and visit, and he has that cilantro aversion, but didn't say anything the entire time he was down here. So we were like, eat all this Mexican food.
Yeah.
And he was like, it's good.
Yeah.
Bro, why didn't you tell us?
Yeah. So like that, like cilantro, I just tell them don't put it on there. If they can.
Yeah.
If not, I'll eat it anyway.
Pick around it.
The only thing I can't do is like onions. I grew up not liking onions, so it's a texture thing for me.
Okay.
I'm sure I'm going to catch shit for it.
All right, man.
Yeah. But we all like what we like, right?
Yeah, exactly. If everybody liked the same thing, life would be boring, you know?
Exactly.
Variety is the spice of life.
Damn right. Wanted to ask you, because I would love to obviously to talk about the beer and stuff, but also talk about the person. What are some of their hobbies or things that you love?
Well, recently I've gotten into 3D printing and a lot of painting that comes with that.
Okay.
So I got tap handles, printing. I convinced the brewery to buy a really nice 3D printer for me.
Love it.
So yeah, we were doing some tap handles and stuff like that, doing like little tabletop miniatures and stuff like that.
Like for D&D?
For D&D, for Warhammer 40K. But yeah, I've been really into that since about December. D&D I've been into forever, but actually printing and painting has been
That's awesome.
whole new thing for me. It's been a blast. But like that, I play in a band. That's always fun, playing shows.
Okay. Because you mentioned Rammstein. Is it like metal, or what do you play?
It is. So my favorite compliment that we've gotten, and I love saying this, is we're like the Black Keys meets Led Zeppelin.
Sounds like something that's like right up my alley, because I like the Black Keys. I love Zeppelin. So.
There you go. You gotta come. We're called the Landlocked Pirates.
Okay.
Yeah, we're on Spotify. Check us out.
Yeah. All right. I got Spotify.
There you go. But
log it in.
It's been fun. I love getting to play down here. I get to hang out with my wife, and she's been getting into gardening lately. So getting to see all the fun stuff she's trying to grow down here is interesting. She grew up in Colorado, so
okay,
very different environment for growing.
Yeah, you said the water's a little different too.
Oh yeah, everything's different, man. So it's been a fun learning experience for her, and obviously some growing pains and stuff. But then she's like, "Oh, the food down here is amazing." Like, yeah, well,
yeah,
McAllen's the number one, the fattest city in the U.S. for a reason. We have amazing food.
Is that legitimate?
We're number one.
Oh fuck, right? I didn't know that. All right, yeah. Well, I'm here till Friday, so I'm gonna try to consume all the good stuff.
There you go. Really good Mexican food.
Is it so McAllen? You think? Because I know like Austin and like Dallas, I know everybody said like go to barbecue. So McAllen, would you feel like it's Mexican food?
Yeah, really good Mexican food. And we do have some good barbecue, especially a little further down the expressway in like Westico and stuff like that.
Okay.
Like Teddy's has amazing barbecue.
Okay.
There's some really good stuff here. We've actually we have a full kitchen at our brewery, and we've had on some amazing food. We won favorite restaurant in McAllen our first year open.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So there's some really good food here. But honestly, there's a little bit of everything for everyone, if you will. There's a universal market that has an amazing Nepalese buffet, an Indian buffet.
Okay.
All the chicken tikka you could eat. And
wow.
It's really good. All the fresh naan. If there's a food that you like, it's here.
Okay.
The other really cool thing is, seafood is super fresh down here.
I bet. Yeah.
Wolf is right there. Mm-hmm. So there's quite a bit of sushi places down here.
I'm mouth watering a little bit.
Hey, man. I haven't eaten today either, so I'm getting hungry too. But yeah, there's some really good food joints down here.
Okay. Mm-hmm. What's your go-to like order for like Mexican food?
Ooh. There's these little sandwiches called lonches.
Okay.
And they take these little tiny buns, they split them in half and basically throw a taco in there without the tortilla. And it is phenomenal. Okay. You get a little bit of that texture from the bread being, nice and sturdy.
Yeah.
Hearty bread, while just the really light and bright food or the flavors from the meat and the cheeses and the cilantro.
Okay.
And all the other great,
yeah.
Great. Lonches are really popular. They're a sandwich from Progreso, Mexico.
Okay.
So right across the border, and they got so popular they come over this way.
Nice. What's your like go-to protein in one of those?
Ooh, I really like trompo in them.
Okay.
But honestly, bistec you can't go wrong with nice beef in your lonche.
Nice.
Yeah, if you get a chance, Nana's Taqueria. It's a little bit of a drive, but phenomenal.
I'm in. Yeah. The more tacos that you can have, the better. Yeah. That's what makes life. Makes the world go round.
Exactly. That's why we have Taco Tuesday on Tuesdays.
There it is.
All tacos are half price.
Cheers. And this is the hazy?
Yes, this is our New England IPA. So this is going to be 18 rabbits in a trench coat.
Okay.
This one is very heavy on these Nectaron and Galaxy hops. I actually get to use a fun, super concentrate.
Okay.
During the dry hopping process. So we do 22 pounds of hops and then 8 ounces of these super concentrates.
Yeah.
And those super concentrates just fill out everything, make it super bright, super juicy.
It's delicious.
Thank you. Yeah. This is one of our labors of love. And like I said, it's gaining traction. We're actually having customers come in. I'm brewing this every other week, it seems.
Okay.
We're going through about a batch of this every 3 weeks, every 4 weeks, which is honestly one of our fastest moving beers now. It's wild.
If you're kicking them every few weeks, then it's good.
Mm-hmm. But it's really cool is that we get people coming in just for the IPA. When
awesome.
When we first opened, people were like, "Ew, IPAs."
Yeah,
and
IPAs are ill.
I don't like bitter stuff. Mop water,
Yeah.
So it's a really good feeling seeing people order it and then ordering seconds. It's like when you cook a really nice Thanksgiving dinner and someone goes back for second helpings and thirds and you're like, "Yep, I made that turkey." Woo!
Yeah.
Feels good.
There you go. Man, I'm gonna have to I need to make a note here. You said it was Landlocked Pirates?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Landlocked Pirates. 3 words.
Okay, Landlocked Pirates. All right.
LLP.
I'm going to listen to it either today or sometime tomorrow when I'm at work. Landlocked Pirates, 3 words.
Yeah. It's a little rubber ducky with an eye patch.
Love it, man. That's one of my favorite. I mean, I was like one of my favorite bands. I would say like they're like a cross between Zeppelin and Rush, is like Greta Van Fleet.
Okay, yeah.
So I feel like the way you described it, I was like, that's right up my alley.
Yeah. Okay.
Do you guys play local shows or?
Yeah, we play a little bit all over the valley. Mainly, there's a bar downtown called the Flying Walrus.
Okay.
They've got an amazing stage. So they love having us, and we love playing there.
Yeah.
So we play there every other month or so.
Man, you're like a dual threat. So you're a brewer, and so do you sing or do you like?
I play bass.
Okay.
I can't sing very well, so
all right.
I do backup vocals occasionally.
Slap the bass.
Yeah, a little funk. You know, we got to be the driving force behind the band.
Oh, you know it, man.
The groove.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. And I did want to mention this place as well. So we're right next door because we're recording next door because it's popping over at Howling
March
Rabbits
Madness,
right now.
man. We got those TVs, so everyone's there to watch the games.
Oh yeah, but over here, man, this is such a cool spot. Like, I mean, it's everything like 80s and 90s. I feel like.
Oh yeah, it was literally how many references to the 80s and 90s can we shove into one building? Yeah, DeLorean's is a really cool place, and we got a really neat graffiti artist to come in and do all of this.
It's fantastic.
He was a really cool guy. He also did our big mural out on the patio. We got like a brewing process mural. He did the entire thing out there.
That's so cool.
He's a cool guy.
I mean, it's called DeLoreans, but I mean, there is a DeLorean over. There's actually 2 DeLoreans that I can see right now. There might be more.
Yeah, Back to the Future stuff in here.
Oh yeah, but Chuck Norris holding 2 freaking machine guns, or what are they called?
The Uzis.
The Uzis. There you go. I couldn't think of the name of it. But then you got Breakfast Club. You got Prince. You got obviously.
Oh yeah. My new. Not that I have a 3D printer. My new fun project is just printing random crap for them.
I love it.
Look, this is from the 80s. There you go. I printed a DeLorean.
What else do you need?
Yeah. So.
Man, that's good. You got ET over there. I mean, Mallrats. I saw that. That's why I came to this table specifically because I saw Mallrats. So.
Yeah. And then up here on this white wall, they actually have projectors. So they'll do music videos and like
that's awesome.
Videos across the wall. That's really neat.
That's really cool. Yeah, I can see this place like the trickle effect back and forth. I feel like between DeLoreans and Howling Rabbits would be pretty awesome.
Oh yeah. We always have DJs here, DJs over there and stuff. So people, if you're not digging the vibe over there, people come over here, and it's vice versa. And it's neat. It's different enough. You know, but people love it here. Working next door in the brewery, when I have to do late night brews and I'm hearing 80s music, it's like, oh, there's worse things in life.
Vibing out a little bit.
Yeah.
My sister would lose her shit with that New Kids on the Block over there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, my sister was I used to make fun of her, but I mean, like now I'm like, all right, I mean, whatever. If it's on, I'll listen to it.
Yeah.
But I listen to kind of everything too, so.
That's how I feel about, Creed. I used to be really into it when I was really young.
Yeah.
And then kind of like, meh. Fell out of it. Now I'm getting older. I'm like, you know what?
Yeah.
It's actually kind of bangers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My brother always used to give me shit. He'd be like, oh, dude, I can't believe you listen to Creed, dude. That's so lame. And then one day I came over and he didn't know I was like there yet. And he was in the shower. He was blasting higher. And I was like, I went to the bathroom when he was in the shower. I was like, you son of a bitch.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah. You give me shit, but you're over there blasting it like that? Yeah. I know. That's what brothers do, though.
Yeah, that's what siblings are for,
Yeah. Do you have any siblings yourself?
I've got one younger sister, yeah.
Okay.
So
she didn't get the brewing bug.
No. No, she's working for an agricultural company and doing all sorts of stuff like that. So.
Awesome.
Yeah,
that's cool, man.
She's pretty cool.
Oh man, like I have a couple more things. I don't want to take up too much of your time, but desert island beers. There's a 2-part question, so it could be. You can either pick like a specific craft. I'm thinking maybe it's the one from Roosevelt, but I mean it could be either like an actual a specific beer or like just a craft style, and then one domestic.
Okay, I'll do you one better. I got a deathbed beer. You give me a pint of this, I will chug it. You pull the plug on me, and I'll die a happy man.
Yeah.
That is St. Bernardist Abbey 12.
Okay.
That is one of my all-time favorite beers. It's big, it's boozy, it's made by monks. It is delicious. Very complex. Yeah. I one day hope I can get as good as these monks and make a beer that delicious.
That's awesome. Because you said deathbed beer and you talked about pulling the plug. Beer fest.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. When he goes prost and he pulls the plug.
Bye-bye.
Yeah. Yep. Bye-bye, Popo.
Yep. Yeah.
Or good night, Popo. I think that's what it is. Yeah.
Goodbye, Popo. Yeah. Yeah, that one. And then because I worked in Golden, I got to brew with Coors a few times. honestly, Coors Banquet is one of my favorite beers of all time. My grandfather, lived in South Carolina, and he always was like, give me one of them silver bullets.
Yeah.
He was all about the Coors Light, but brewing with them in Golden was such a cool experience. They're doing things on a astronomical level. They're putting in, last I heard, one of their lead engineer was one of our regulars at GCB.
Okay.
So last time I was talking to him, they were putting in 4 7,000 barrel fermenters.
Jesus.
So that is an insane amount of beer. One of those fermenters, 7,000 barrel, is more than I will brew in my entire lifetime, probably.
Yeah.
Wow. It's insane.
That's, yeah.
You know
what's crazy about that? Because obviously, like the whole macro thing and everything like that. But it's like to be able to have that same tasting beer in New York, Los Angeles, wherever, Texas, that's a feat in itself.
It is.
Yeah.
And because we had the Coors Super Nerds there in Golden, one of my really fun beer experiences I had up there was one of them bringing in Coors that was made at the 4 different locations it's made.
Yeah.
And being able to taste these super minor differences in them.
Really?
And it's probably mainly from water differences, but
probably,
it was a really cool experience. But yeah, to achieve that level of consistency is a feat in itself, man. And like we said earlier, you can't hide imperfections in a light, easy drinking beer.
Yeah. And it's like, even like, you could have one, just say like you would get you guys in 5x5, like you guys can brew the same exact style, same hops, same malt, everything like that. But if you have a different system, it's not going to come out the same.
Oh yeah. Like we have a direct fire system, right? So like I was saying, we have giant jet engines under our boil kettle and stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of people nowadays are using steam or electrical kettles. We get a level of caramelization, Maillard reactions, because we have those flames at the bottom that you don't get on an electric system or a steam system. And that's like something that I learned to brew on and have come to expect those flavors in the beer.
Yeah.
So switching to a steam jacket or electric was just not even an option for me personally.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, this is what I know. I've already contained all these variables.
Yeah.
Not changing anything. We're making it work.
Love it, man. I love I love talking to brewers, but I mean, like, I love, because you can hear the passion, like even yours, like you can hear it in your voice, like how much you love what you do. And I mean, and I know we talked about it earlier a little bit, but like, you got to do what you love, man. You got to find something you love. And how cool is that you found, like you went to was it Roosevelt's? And like found a beer that you liked, and you're like, and then you go to Maui Brewing Co. and you're like, all right, this is it. Like I found what I wanted to do my whole life, and you're doing it. So like you said, not a lot of people are willing to take that risk. Not a lot of people are willing to even just chase their dreams. So kudos to you for doing it, man.
Thank you, man. Yeah, I've been very fortunate, thank my parents for exposing me to all sorts of, foods. And one of my favorite things, food and just being able to develop your palate goes a long way, and being able to describe what you're tasting, describe all that stuff. And I was very fortunate. My parents forced me to eat all sorts of stuff growing up,
there you go.
Everywhere, And my mom always said, try something twice.
Yeah.
If you don't like it the first time, maybe you just weren't in the mood for it that first day. Try it the second time.
Yep.
And, they'd be surprised how many times I've tried something the second time, but like, oh, actually, that's not that bad. I like that a lot.
Yeah. My mom used to try to do that with me with onions. Like I would have them. I tried them the first time, didn't like them. She would try to hide them in other food. Like try to caramelize them, make them super soft. And I'd still take that because, you can make them soft, but you can still, when you bite into it, you're still going to get that thing. And I was like, I would take like one bite of something, like, you put onions in this, didn't you? And she'd be like, how did you know? Like, I could taste it. I'm like, Yeah. I love to cook with onion powder. Like, I'll do that sort of stuff.
Okay.
Like, so I love the flavor it gives, just the texture for me.
Okay.
But I wanted to ask you, so we're talking about food. I mean, we talked about the lunches already, but is there another food you love to pair with a beer?
Ooh, I guess it would depend on the food and depend on the beer, right?
Yeah.
So if I'm looking for, like, one of my favorite things to do is eat a piece of chocolate cake with that coconut porter. It's a match made in heaven.
That, yeah.
They really they lend to each other in terms of the beer kind of balancing out the sweetness and kind of washing away a lot of that.
The carb,
all that.
Nice. Yeah. Damn.
I really enjoy drinking the red with like a nice steak. We do steak nights on Wednesday.
Okay.
So, it's a 12-ounce ribeye steak, fries, and a salad for $15. We hand cut ourselves. Yeah, it's a phenomenal deal.
That's great.
Come in and do that with a glass of the red. And like the caramel notes really lend to, the searing on the steaks and getting a little gross. You'd be like, biting into the fat of a steak.
Yeah.
While having some of that beer. Like, they just lend to each other so well.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite things. Or, fish with an IPA, a good IPA.
Okay.
You want like bright, effervescent beers with fish.
Oh,
that's what you want, man. So depends what I'm in the mood for.
Okay.
But if I'm going to sit down at Howling Rabbits and have a beer and a food, it's going to be pizza.
Okay.
We have really good pizza.
All right.
And our blonde ale. Because they're just nothing better than that classic light beer and pizza combo.
Oh, yeah. Throw a little hot sauce on there, maybe?
Oh, yeah.
My mouth watered again.
We'll eat some food after this.
No. Because I haven't asked this question in probably like 40 or 50 episodes. Because every time I used to go somewhere, I would always ask them, like, where's the best place to get a burger? So if you're ever in McAllen, because I know I did see a Whataburger, I've never been, but is there a mom and pop that you feel like has like a really good burger?
Howling Rabbits Beer Works.
Okay, there it is.
We actually have a 3-meat burger. So it's, what is it? Prime rib.
It's like short rib, maybe?
Short rib and
brisket.
Maybe? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And honestly, it's a phenomenal burger.
Yeah.
But if I'm not, just tooting our own horn, I do also like to go to Wallbangers, which is like right down this way. Okay. Another mom and pop place. Really, they bake their own buns and everything. It's a phenomenal place. Yeah. Like, it's where I go to get my chili cheeseburgers.
Oh, yeah. I'm a big chili cheeseburger guy, too.
Yeah.
I mean, can't beat it.
You really can't. And like sometimes that's just the only thing that's going to hit the spot,
Oh, yeah. For sure. So good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I purposefully left off one question.
Okay.
Well, I mean, I did technically 2 questions now because I did pull that other one out. If you had to describe yourself in one word, what would it be?
Passionate. Very passionate about a lot of things, honestly.
Yeah.
But I'm the kind of person that, like, if I find something I enjoy, I need to learn every single thing about that and will...
You're a perfectionist. Yeah.
Very much so. Very much so. So, even in brewing, I'm always reading new articles or, like I was saying earlier, I'm part of a bunch of craft beer forums and brewers forums.
Love that.
I like when people post problems like, oh, I'm having this issue. I like to, in my mind, figure out what I would respond to that and then read all the comments and be like, oh, okay, that's what they're saying. Like, hey, I'm smart. Yeah, it's fun, man. Passion and it's something I will always be learning. It's a cool. I love brewing, man.
Oh, it's the best, man. I mean, one thing, and I say this every episode, but people are going to be like, they're probably fed up with me for saying it, but I say, get busy living or get busy dying.
Exactly.
Freaking Shawshank.
Very true.
Yeah. It's like, what's the point of just being unhappy your whole life, right? Like, you got to get out there, you got to learn, you got to, try, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
find what excites you and do it.
Yeah. Like, I've never been here. Like, I've never been to McAllen. I've only been to Dallas the one time, and that was last month.
Okay.
And then they told me I was coming down here for work. I was like, I got to talk to somebody out here about beer.
Mm-hmm.
And
I'm glad you made it, man.
Yeah. Thank you for, Andrew, for letting me come down and talk to you and pick your brain and just hear about your story, man. That's,
Man. And like I said, anytime I've got a captive audience, I will talk about beer.
I will, and I'm here to listen. I'd love to maybe one day we could do, I think it'd be pretty cool if we got and if you know any other brewer friends in other cities, maybe we could do like a remote one, like a remote brewers roundtable.
Okay.
And, like you, and then maybe like Jacob Sloan from On Rotation, and then someone like another brewer that that would be interested in another city in Texas.
Yeah.
I think that'd be pretty fun.
I'd love to do that, man.
Yeah. And maybe even before maybe a festival or something like GABF maybe. And that could be talk about what you guys are submitting or anything like that. I think that'd be cool.
That'd be neat, yeah. We plan on doing GABF this year. So it'll be our first year submitting as Howling Rabbits. So
okay.
It's exciting.
Awesome.
Nerve-wracking, but exciting.
Yeah. And when's the anniversary for Howling?
Actually, next month. I think it's in April, right? Every year I think this year we're deciding on April 19th.
Okay.
Arbitrarily, but
it's WrestleMania weekend.
Boom. So we'll be releasing that milkshake IPA that weekend.
Okay.
We'll be tapping the second keg of the black IPA that weekend.
I want to put my notes on here just so I can say, hey, because I'll have to figure out when this is going to come out, but I want to at least plug the anniversary beforehand.
Oh, yeah. Please. Appreciate that.
Of course, man. No, but
thank you so much for letting me come down here. And even if you're in the area, if you're in the McAllen area, come down here. You owe it to yourself, to try it. And the beers are phenomenal, but also DeLorean's next door. And then make sure you get some pizza and then some lunches from, what was it called?
Nanas.
Okay. And how far is that from here?
It's probably about a 30-minute drive. Not too bad, but it's
worth it.
Yeah. Don't go during rush hour or whatever, and you'll be fine. The 30-minute drive.
Okay.
Quick and easy.
Oh, well, Andrew, thank you again, man.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. And thank you to your dad for letting you have that beer, because if not, maybe this wouldn't have happened.
Exactly. He loves it. He gets to come in and drink all the beer he wants now. He's like, oh yeah, I did my time. Yeah.
He's the judge.
Yeah. He's our official quality control taste tester. Yep.
Love it, man. Thanks so much. And like I said, come down to Howling Rabbits. And then I was also 5x5. I don't know how far away that is, but
they're not too far from here. They're probably about a 10-minute drive. They're there in Mission. They're doing good stuff. Veteran run brewery. They're cool guys over there.
Always, and remember, guys, always support local, drink local, find your beer. And thank you again, Andrew. I know I've said thank you a bunch of times, but I'm really appreciative. I just love being able to talk to someone as passionate as you and that cares about the product as much as they do.
Anytime, man. It was fun.
All right. Let's go. Should we go get another beer?
Hell yeah.
All right. Cheers.
Cheers.
All right, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Like I said, just a really good dude, great brewer. And I honestly can't wait to come back and have another beer with him when I go back to South Texas. So, let's see. What do we got? Next week's episode, I believe, is the Adam Mills episode. And then it'll be the Arizona brew hopping. And then Masa from Native Son. Masa from Mikasu Brewing, who brews out of Native Son. My bad. Yeah, I'm going to go make some coffee. And I think I got some leftover chorizo, so I'm probably going to have a burrito as well. All right. Well, I don't even know why I was talking like that. All right. Yep. Nope. This time I'm done. All right, guys. I hope you guys have a great May the 4th. Also, I hope you guys just have a great weekend. I mean, had a great weekend. Have a great Sunday. If you're not a Star Wars fan, and if you're not, I got 2 words for you. I'm just kidding. Also, what else we got? I think that's it. Yeah, I think we got it. So always remember to support local, drink local, and find your beer. Cheers, Tap Fam.